This is the EGC 20k Age of Empires 4 tournament. We are here to witness the final 16 generals in battle. Let's continue from where we left. Welcome back, Commanders. We rejoin the battlefield. This time, the landscape is formed like Lipany. In case you have forgotten, our generals continuing their raging war, in the blue is Imp Capoch, who was previously defeated as France. They'll be trying once more, fighting for France. The opposition is Recon. Just to clarify the tournament rules, if you win as a civilization, you cannot pick the same civilization again for the duration of the best of 3. So Recon is still red, but this time they are as the Mongols, a seemingly popular choice for dealing with France, though still a small one. England seems to be the common one, but that's more of a common pick in general rather than a counter to France. Mongols, however, are being picked up as a counter, which does strike me as interesting. There are a few reasons, but nothing that really stands out. So let's talk about that as the civilization breakdown shows. You can check all the details on your screen about France, but let's talk about the Mongols. Of course, you have the double unit production from stone that helps get an army out fast, and not one that's just to defend with. I've seen some early Mongol plays where they move out with aggression with spears, and getting a lot of troops quickly is enhanced by the Khan's buff themselves. Movement speed being an important one for finishing off knights before they can get away and heal up. That also connects strongly with the Mangadai, the horse archer. It may be short in range, but in large numbers they can be a nuisance to the knights, who can never quite reach them whilst always taking damage. Then, even more synergy, you have the Deer Stones, the tier 2 landmark choice, which is often being picked up to get the Yam network movement speed. Everyone gets the movement speed increased around the towers, very helpful for villagers escaping death. And so, there's quite a few things that just blend really well together to outrun the French knights and chase them down. There's a few other things, but we'll come to those if we see those things in play. The Uvu is up, of course, producing stone. Town center so snugly between the berries and the forest, with both stone and gold nearby. Not a bad start for Recon. As we know, Mongols can move many of their buildings, and you can get some rough starts where you're pulled between resources and have to make some concessions, but not today, not for Recon. They also have a marketplace nearby, which is excellent for the trading, and I'm sure they're very happy about this start. Tournament rules also allow a restart in case of poor map generation. It's all in the fairness of the game. The Khan scouting out that school of cavalry that we know was coming and being chased by a wolf as well. Oh. Other rules include the banning of any exploits. That's right, we won't be seeing any Mongol town center rushes to the other side of the map. We also won't be seeing infinite Khans, relics, and this one was contested. No bazooka legs. It's a shame about that last one, but nonetheless, I think we are in for a bloody good fight. The Deer Stones are being constructed, and barracks as well. So, will we be seeing some nice and early spears out? I think that is the only option available at the moment. Using that extra stone, though, to get spearmen ready for the French knights. The other thing I want to know is if there's going to be towers all over the place, to really make use of that Yam network and getting soldiers across the map and keeping the offensive pressure up on France so they can never really have a chance to do much raiding. Of course, if they're always having to defend, then they're not hurting you, and your supply can grow over time. School of Cavalry is down, and the Khan is just chasing the scout, but it takes so long. The Khan is very, very weak. Even though they hit all their arrows are rubber-tipped. going to be a constant nuisance for Capoch. And a total alarm for the next few minutes at least, until the Khan might get chased away by something more powerful than a scout, which Recon, well, I was going to say needs to be careful about, but need is a very strong word. We see lots of Khans fall for the Mongols. It's just a matter of when they go down. Right now, not much of a big deal. However, when a big fight is about to come up, you don't really want to miss out on the chance to give your army a ranged attack speed buff or extra armor or movement speed, whatever it may be. But in the first 10 minutes, though, they're just a glorified scout. But still, nice to keep them alive if you can, but just sending them on attack for the scout, they might end up running in to Capoch's base and perish. Running through a stealth forest, though, that might break their attack command. But Recon is here to micro. They're even going to cut a corner to close the gap between the two. Now, here's a real challenge. What video games can you think of where your character can have a ton of arrows in them? You know the scene that I'm talking about? I'm trying to think of one now, and am I thinking of Elder Scrolls or Neverwinter Nights? I don't know, but what I do know is this scout, even though they got just a few meters away from the town center, they do die. The Khan claims a kill. The spears are out for Recon to defend against the Royal Knights. 3 Royal Knights, 3 spears. I don't like those numbers, but at least Recon does have a tower up. Additional protection may be required. The Knights looking to flank around the side or back instead, as the Khan takes a look at the wood zone for Capoch. The house is constructed to give some extra cover, but they won't be needing that soon, unlike Recon. With these Knights coming back, they know where the Uvu is. Now, there isn't going to be workers around here, but there is a path leading up to the villagers. Spear already on the guard, a stable's being constructed as well. I'm not sure the Knights have much they can do here, but they go in, they go out, they heal up. But not on Recon's watch. Recon ain't gonna let them get in. Spears on the north and south side of that woodcutters area. Great protection so far from Recon, trying to even cut off some of the Knights. But I think all they're gonna get is to slow that regen down. At this point in time, Capoch will start grabbing archers. When you start seeing your opponent training a lot of early spearmen. Capoch's also extended out to harvest a nearby deer. A few spearmen already at the ready. They'll group up with the Knights, most likely, and try and pick off those spearmen to give the Knights some ability to be useful. The time is ticking for Recon. Though I would say since Knights become exponentially stronger in numbers as the match develops, and our generals have to move further out, spreading across the map to gather resources, cavalry then has a much easier time poking holes or finding holes in the defenses, which again will be a problem unless Recon can actually diminish these Knights in the next 5 to 10 minutes, because the alternative is that Recon has or gets such a strong economy that they can severely outnumber Capoch with units and overwhelm the strength of those Knights, which would be pretty hard to do, considering that to have such a strong economy, you're going to have to spread out across the map with a second town center. The Knights still looking for a way in. There's a blacksmith around the Uvu and archers hiding in the forest nearby. Those archers are going to look to try and pick away some of the villagers. Another outpost going up as well for Recon next to the gold, while Spear are chasing the Knights at the back. And something confident that I'm seeing with Recon that I feel, especially in a lot of England versus France matchups, you see England going longbows and spears, because longbows, obviously, they're unique unit, they're much stronger than the ordinary archer, but France likes to always pair archers and knights, And the hard counter to that would be the spears for the knights and the cavalry to take out the archers, which is the reverse of what we normally see with France and England, because the French knights take out the longbowmen and the French archers take out the English spearmen. So what Recon has here is the ideal units, the ideal mixture, at least in terms of what they can produce, to be able to attack or defend against France, incoming with a battering ram to take out some of these outposts. Archers to the front to hit the spear. Recon instructs the cavalry to engage. Capoch falls back. Fire on the battering ram. Knights form in front of the archers. They'll take a few spears. The Khan inspires the troops to chase. The archers continue to fire whilst falling back, trying to whittle away those spears so that the knights can re-engage safely. But it seems like Recon's cavalry makes it to the archers, whilst the spears are too low in numbers and are outmaneuvered by those knights. More archers reinforce for Capoch. The battering ram left ignored. It's a messy battle, but this one clearly goes to Capoch. The Khan escapes with their life, but very few of their soldiers. In fact, only a lone horseman survives. Is Recon about to have a tower or two knocked down? The villagers consider moving away from the scene, but they will throw some torches and try and defend, losing a few of them in the process. The Khan returns very quickly with a few more horsemen, enough to scare away Capoch for the time being, but they are going to build a second battering ram. Capoch also extending out to acquire some more barriers to the south of the map whilst the pressure is applied to Recon. Always great to try and extend outwards whilst your enemy must look inwards. Recon also has a market down, placed next to the towers as a wolf attacks the berry pickers. I wonder if we'll see some traders soon. The Mongols get additional resources if they have, I think it was over 9 traders. You can also build towers all along the trade route to speed up the traders' movement speed with the Yam network. I've seen it once outside of the tournament, and it was a really glorious thing to behold. But the position of this marketplace is quite close, so I think its only real purpose at the moment is to buy and sell resources if needed, but it can repack and reposition later. We have 2 stables, a barracks, blacksmith, and a decent-sized force re-emerging now for Recon. And I'm sure Capoch wants to utilize these battering rams again as they slowly move forward. This time, many more knights. Recon advancing into the castle age with a step redoubt. That's going to increase the gold that they can get. But at the moment, they gotta defend. The tower is being knocked down. Capoch pretty happy with that. In comes Recon's forces. But they're looking mighty outnumbered. They could at least go ahead and charge a battering ram. But they have to be very cautious not to get themselves stuck in a big fight, as those archers will pick away at them. Indecisiveness will lead to casualties. Now we have knights out here thanks to the castle age. Recon charges in with the spears. The villagers set upon the battering rams. The Khan is looking happy about this one. The appearance of that Mongol heavy horse armor is devastating for Capoch's French archers, and the villagers doing a fine job as well. I'm surprised Capoch doesn't just try to kill them. They're gonna back off. The Khan continues pressing forward the attack all the way back to the stealth forest. Great job to the horsemen and the lancers. The battle has died down. We're left with a few minor skirmishes. The Khan is heading home. The step redoubt is driving closer to the gold. It's a bold move, Cotton. Let's see how it plays out. Recon will want to protect that. And it's not like Capoch's not got anything threatening left. They were still rallying units to the forest. So Recon must be feeling fairly confident at the moment. Lots of farms for the French village. They've almost burned through their first batch of wood. The Mongols have yet to advance upon these lands, so Capoch is still comfortably allowing their villagers freedom of movement. No martial law, but I think that could potentially change soon. Recon could very easily send heavy lancers on their own raids, and Capoch, unlike Recon, has not had a reason yet to invest in defenses, so they'll have to play with the army they have. We have a lot of night movement all around Recon's base. So, whilst I think we have a bit of a break in the action, a strong reminder again that if you'd like to get involved or check out the competitive scene for Age of Empires 4, might I recommend tuning in to the EGC Discord. The link is in the video description, and the Heavy Lancers are looking for some... They're right there! They're right there! Yes, they're going to turn around and go for them. And just to clarify, you are watching this on the Ironcast channel. We are two separate entities. I have worked in organizing tournaments before, and it's bloody hard work, let me tell you that. To deal with so many people, and this tournament started with 512 of them. There is so much that can go wrong. Double villager death. But the event so far has gone very smoothly. So big thank you to all the admins for the EGC, for giving us the first tournament in Age of Empires 4 history. Still, no knights are getting into Recon's base. Capoch is super struggling to find access to those villages. And now Capoch's gonna have to look at also fortifying their defenses. As mentioned previously, spread out so much, make very hard defend. Got some fighting in the hills, a 1v1 cage match, and Capoch went for the Royal Institute, and I've been waiting to talk about this. Everyone's been going the economic landmark, the guild hall, so I've never had a chance. So let's do this and hope there are no big battles that'll interrupt us. So, the Royal Institute. One of the things that the players get commonly tripped up over is that it says it houses France's unique technologies, but that doesn't mean you can only access them if you build this building. All of the upgrades you can get from there from their respective buildings. So France can upgrade their arbalètrier from the archery range with the +5 armor, which it is bugged at the moment. It only only sets the armor of the arbalètrier to 5 armor instead of adding 5 armor. But anyway, purchasing technologies from the Royal Institute is 20% cheaper, and the Royal Bloodlines technology, which grants a 35% increased health to the cavalry, it's monstrous. Usually, though, you would have to get this from the university, which requires Age 4, but the Royal Institute allows you to grab this technology in Age 3. It would also usually cost 700 gold and 300 food normally, so the 20% decrease in cost is pretty nice. It's not like significant, but it is nice. And I think the main reason to go Royal Institute at the moment is for that. But is that what Capoch wants to do? We've got our thoughts and prayers to end. Recon might just need it. They do have lancers and spearmen, which will do well together against the Royal Knights. The archers for Capoch have the task of picking off spearmen from the group, and they're doing a fine job of it. They don't want to waste arrows on cavalry. Recon has to reinforce here. The Knights are building up and are becoming a problem. The Khan still alive, amazingly. They will retreat. 3 more heavy armored lancers cover that. This battle is surely lost, though. But besides killing many troops in battle, what else can Capoch attain from this victory? The monk will go ahead and begin healing the wounded as Recon returns to try and pick off some of the men retreating. We got 2 Royal Knights back there, and a battering ram which is still alive, and a mill that is burning, and a Recon which is now acting as the aggressor. But perhaps Just a small mistake with right-clicking to attack. And we have a town center going up for Capoch as well. I don't know how Recon is doing it, but they are doing it just when it looked like they had lost. Out comes what I will guess double produced heavy lancers for a final push, moving this fight to Capoch's lands. And Recon even daringly packs up their landmark and sends it to the next gold deposit. The Khan granting armor whilst they storm around the new town center. Capoch is not prepared for this. They seemingly only have one solution, and that is to produce more of what they have. Knights and archers. However, they are falling to the Khan's heavy lancers. And now Recon can strike the heart of France, the common worker. Capoch gonna grab 2 extra archery rangers, but at this point, is it the spears that are troublesome for Capoch? Maybe friends could benefit from some spears themselves. Recon even setting up a stable closer with 20 minutes into this match. And I gotta say, Recon looks very strong. But what's their next move? Siege equipment would be the logical next step to be able to tear down these structures. Some gold susceptible to raiding at the back. Knights healing up inside the village. There'd be a lot of villagers to ride off at the back of that gold mine, but Recon has focused their efforts on the main fights. Arriving on the field now is the Arbaletier, and yeah, these will be excellent for dealing with the Mongol Lancers, so long as they can get some protections from the Royal Knights. And can Capoch mass enough of them before the next battle? You know, we're talking 80 food, 40 gold. They've got a small bit of armor against melee attacks and bonus damage against heavy armor. It's about a 50% increased damage. A lot of gold miners have moved further north as well. Recon, I gotta say, I expected more reconnaissance. With a name like Recon, there's a heavy lancer moving along the bottom of the map. They won't discover too much down there. There is a single trader for Capoch, and this is looking like a very slow build-up for France. That army hasn't increased in size too much. We got Recon sending a couple of lancers to that gold deposit in the north. They're going to be delighted at what they find. They also raided the south one with a single lancer, which I thought this was exhausted, so my mistake, but it's good to have work in multiple areas at the same time, rather than having all of your monthly gold consolidated into one location. It means that when one place is attacked, the other is likely going to be okay. In this circumstance, though, both of them are being struck at the same time, but not by too many to really overwhelm them. The French Royal Knights certainly struggling to raid anything back, whilst Recon initiates a small attack and retreat. Keeping track of all these different economic grounds can be taxing. Makes it harder to defend, and it's a strategical choice. The question being, what's the best choice for the given situation? Spread out thin, or bulk up and defend hard? Recon is lingering around in that stealth forest. The Khan can see very well out, but Capoch can't see in, though. I can't see any towers revealing what's inside as they charge in. They see a keep is being constructed, and they don't want that to happen. The lancers and spears work together against the Royal Knights. The villagers abandon construction to arm up in the town center. The Arbaletier getting plenty of shots off. The Knights of the North join the battle briefly before luring a division of Recon's lancers away. More reinforcements arrive for the Khan as the front line has deteriorated, granting access to the crossbowmen. The chaos now spreads around the village, and Capoch is in trouble. They immediately start dumping stock, selling off assets. I can't see Recon achieving much with their forces split like this, though. They should figure out an objective. They will rally the forces back together, take out a keep, a town center. What would be a core thing to topple over, even when victory seems assured, because the battle isn't over until a white flag or all the sacred sites are captured, landmarks destroyed, or even a wonder is constructed. Either of those is fine, really. But one must happen. A Springald enters the battlefield. Its use is minimal here. It's not really necessary. Nonetheless, it makes a showing just in case. Capoch surprisingly has some siege engines around. Recon not given the order to cease the assault. They want to inflict as much economic and military damage as possible. To them, this is their moment, and they'll even strike the outposts, further starving Capoch at a critical time in French history. Just in case, Recon has even brought a mangonel, which I don't think it will get to see too much action. It's just sitting there, menacingly. Even the battering ram flees in terror. Looks like Recon is reconsolidating the remaining forces they have here in Capoch's village. Whilst the damage is still being done elsewhere to those mines. Capoch will still scout out a little bit. That's not information that they can use right now. Their poor keep is debris. And next in the firing line for the mangonel is the town center. That is it. France has been defeated. Congratulations to the great Khan Recon for their victory. Recon will progress to the next stage of the tournament with a proud and excellent showing of Mongol strategy. And there are many more matches to see, so I must leave as I travel backwards and forwards through time to witness all the battles from the final 16. So, my name's Anuki. I'll see you in a time but not place of your choosing.